Pierre. I'm on the National Executive Committee of Unison, and I hold one of the black member seats. I'm proud to say that Unison has supported the Tamil Solidarity campaign for the last 3 or 4 years, recognising the horrible situation that refugees face in the northern part of Sri Lanka and the crimes that the state has committed against Tamils in that part of the world, in that part of the island. Unison has supported the campaign and continues to commit to make sure that it does everything it can for refugee rights, for Tamils, and to make sure that Tamils are not oppressed as they are by the regime. We need to make sure, though, that Unison backs the campaign Tamil Solidarity is launching, Tamil Solidarity, the refugee rights campaign, and make sure that it backs that. And that we need to make sure that we get behind all of the efforts that this organisation is doing. Unison has had a very proud record of standing up to racism, but standing up to racism in our view isn't enough. We need to make sure that we're anti-austerity right to the bone, that we fight to defend the public services that we have in this country. We see a massive problem with housing in this country. Young people can't find anywhere to be housed. If we think that that's a problem for young people that live here, just imagine what that situation is for anyone who's fleeing from a war-torn situation in any part of the world. The rights to housing, it should be a right for everyone, and not being enshrined by this government, and our trade unions need to make sure that they are fighting for housing, they're fighting for jobs, and they're fighting to make sure that people have decent rates of pay. They need to make sure that the campaign against austerity is joined up, not just with various organisations and various groups, but the trade unions need to join up to make sure that they attack this austerity plans by this government. And that, we think that Unison should make sure that it supports the call by the trade unions for against the trade union rights campaign. Sorry, not against the trade union rights campaign, for trade union rights that are being attacked by the trade union bill. There's a conference that should be called by the trade unions to see what they do with the Trade Union Act, because we need to take this head on. We need to make sure that the trade unions are in a powerful enough position to make sure that they can campaign, that they can organise resistance. Organising resistance is the key to defeating austerity, that we can organise strike action, that we can make sure that that strike action is across the trade union movement, that we bring down this austerity plan from the government. The government are not a united government. The government are in disarray. Look what happened just earlier this week, where only 7 days after they announced their budget and they announced the national insurance increase for self-employed people, within 7 days they overturned that decision. We can make sure that all of the decisions that they do that attack working people, that affect the rights of refugees, we could turn the government back on all of those matters, and we could bring in an anti-austerity government, we could bring in anti-austerity politicians into the government if we organise that across the board. So I'd say to Tamil Solidarity, it's great that you're on this demonstration today. It's essential that we all play a part in making sure that the anti-austerity message gets out there, but more importantly, that we fight in a determined way to defend our public services, that we fight in a determined way to defend our right to organise and our right to strike, and that we make sure that we also fight for the rights of refugee groups as well. So solidarity to you from myself. Bye.
Thank you. So thanks a lot, Hugo. So one of the reasons we are here is defending the refugee rights. The condition here is terrible conditions for refugees, and on top of that, the current government is planning to introduce more legislations in terms of charging for health service, but also questioning the right to stay and so on and so forth. So that's why we are here. But also we support the local demands, such as the decent wages for everybody, £10 an hour, but also right to work for everybody and investment in services. The refugees are not here due to war and destructions and various support for dictatorial governments. This government take billions and billions of pounds from various resources across the world, but also support dictatorial regimes, supported Sri Lankan regime, for example, during the genocidal war, but also in Saudi Arabia they still continue to support. So why can't they invest that money into services and reduce the pressure on services and invest more money and not to privatize NHS and make the life of people who are already suffering more miserable. So that's why we're here, to express our solidarity but also demanding our rights. So we're going to march in a bit along with everybody. We'll get in there and then we'll make our march.